Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, Paizo giveaway, Golden Demon AI, Amazon 40K sooner than we expected, and a Star Trek 1E bundle getting you ready for second edition because it's all backwards compatible, right? Or so they say.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So kind of in the midst of this D&D extravaganza, which we're not actually getting that much, Paizo decided to get some attention with what they released last year, their second edition, the second edition of their core rules, and they're doing a giveaway. Okay. So you can get a free copy of the second edition core rule book, and it's the pencil sketch cover artwork. So it's pretty cool. It's a very neat looking edition. So exactly the the layout of the cover work, but it's the pencil, the original pencil work. So how do you do this? Well, you share your stories of your characters dying, whether brave or for silly reasons, and on social media, and then they'll pick some winners.
What is this? Mork Bjork?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yes. Right. So so that's Monday on Twitter. Yeah, they said share your character deaths. So Paizo said each story shared is a chance to win a sketch cover of the player's core book. And though it's not clear how many winners there's going to be, they'll pick everyone they pick will receive a copy, which is a $60 book. So that's a pretty decent prize. And this is the main source book for character synthesis of Core 2 as well. But this is the character creation, basic rules and lore, the 8 full character classes, and 8 playable ancestries. Okay. So if you want the crunchier cousin of D&D, then Pathfinder 2, yeah, it doesn't look like you want that, but Pathfinder 2 might be for you. Okay.
It's free.
Yes,
it's free. Right? I assume.
If you get it for free. So here's a couple of examples that showed up on Twitter of people's people's deaths. So my first character, a wizard who had the vulnerability to positive energy due to an event in the game, was killed by our fighter when he made him drink a healing potion, trying to save him while unconscious.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And so the party was trying to get into a tower. My PC climbed up the outside and looked through a window. I was surprised to see a guard. The guard with the crossbow was not.
Yep. Okay.
Yes. And then so when trying later some dice rolls for falling damage, and I was working on rolling up a new PC. Yeah. So lots of fun. So this will happen over the next couple of weeks, and yes, and we're waiting for the player's handbook to, I guess, officially drop in retail. Yeah, it's like they've been handing out copies of it, but I'm not sure that. I think the release date is. Still pending.
I have no problem with this contest. I have to assume it's just kind of you're putting a random drawing by sharing one of these.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They're probably just stuff that makes people laugh, or maybe get some likes and attention. But I thought that was a funny thing for them to be doing to stay. Hey guys, remember us? We're still here. Remember that OGL thing? Remember when people were like not paying attention to D&D?
Hey, D&D 2024. No, look over here. Look over here.
Yeah. Right. All right, more AI controversy. Jeez. So Warhammer's Golden Demon Painting Contest bans the use of AI. I don't know how AI. It's kind of a weird kind of extraneous thing. Okay. So Games Workshop has updated the rules for their miniatures painting contest and competitions, and says zero tolerance stance on AI. We will not allow anyone to use AI.
The painting competition.
Okay. Yeah. So this all came from Adepticon 2024, the Golden Demon, Neil Hollis submitted a dinosaur riding Eldari Exodite, and the base included a backdrop image, which it emerged had been generated using AI software. So the fans kind of quarreled about eligibility and, is this allowed? And they didn't at that time really specify their AI policy. So now they have. So starting with the next Golden Demon at SPIEL Essen in October, they have said, zero tolerance. They are saying they are not allowed to use artificial intelligence to generate any part of the entry. So that's the FAQ. Yeah. Am I allowed to use AI? And the answer is just no on the FAQ. So
respect. I never would have assumed that backdrop, right?
Yeah. So I imagine though that there are things like, like maybe, painted, a lot of people like do freehand, like painted shields and really complicated murals and stuff in their pieces. And so if you're just going to use AI, software and print that out and seal it, on the back, then I guess, that would be how you would include, like dioramas and stuff, like people would be doing stuff.
Yeah. I wonder if, that's kind of tough because my opinion, you used AI, but I mean, if it's like on like a plinth with like that background card, is that technically part of the model? Right.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it's not involved in the model.
And I'm not saying people should try and do that to try and skirt the thing because GW has now said none. Right. But I wonder how that affected judging.
Right.
This one.
Yeah, and I went the criteria. So that might have been because there might be like an overall score, like for the total, the whole piece instead of just the paint, painting technique or whatever. But this article, this was on Wargamer, had a really good description. So they're talking about artificial intelligence and that it's a bit of a misnomer. So it's when you're talking about this, it's basically limited pattern recognition and pattern generation. So they're not doing any more than a sieve knows between sand and rocks. That's basically what this software is doing. So it's not artificial intelligence creating artwork. It's just reprocessing patterns that it's detecting. They just came up with a new way to process scraped images. Yeah. And so we'll see, and we'll see what kind of disruption this will eventually have, if any. We know 3D printing, may be a threat, but we'll see what
that you kind of understand.
Yeah.
And I was talking with someone yesterday about they're not a war gamer at all, but they're from the UK, and so they know about GW. And I'm just kind of okay, look, it's kind of like the Kleenex, right, of wargaming word. But I understand. I understand why Games Workshop has kind of protected their models by making them so difficult to put together, right? It's no longer two halves that go together and then like arms and stuff. It's you look at stuff and you're just like, how you really engineered how this thing was put together specifically to make it difficult for people to kit bash stuff. Right. And also to recast, or to recast.
Because the tolerances are so fine that, you can't do poor quality casting of those sprues anymore. So, it's interesting. And we did talk about previously too, for this latest expansion for Mantic's Deadzone, they're going all in with STLs. They basically had on My Mini Factory, they had like a crowdfunding kind of thing where you just had pledge levels and you get the STLs right away. So they're going to release hard plastic kits of these, but they thought if you want access to this right away and you already are 3D printing, here's everything we're releasing for this, and if you support us here, that'll help us be able to fund the tooling and casting of the plastic.
We talked before, 3D printing is still not ubiquitous, right? You still have, there's still a market for plastic kits or the printing services or stuff. So I don't really, for some companies, it's not a danger where they go, okay, we don't have them, we still sell the kits, right? Or you find someone to print the stuff for you, or you print yourself, here's the STLs, right? Either way, we're still kind of getting it. But I kind of understand why a company like GW would be like, no, we don't want STLs.
Yeah. Right? They're not there yet.
I don't know what that's going to mean for them in the long term. Because I kind of feel like where other companies either provide miniatures that you can use for lots of different games, or mostly focus on rule sets that you can kind of maybe use their models with or use something else with. GW is very specifically, no, our models are kind of it, and we want you to pay through the nose for them. Right. Yeah, and I think if that model ever falls apart for them, it'll be interesting to see them transition, because they've already had a lot of success with licensing for video games. I think that's what they would have to rely on. Then. So it'd just be they'd hold on to that IP and they would just license it out to all these companies. Okay, you do the rules and you do the miniatures and just pay us. It won't be the $1 billion company it was, but or it might be if they're able to license it to decent companies,
right? I mean, and if it lowered the barrier to entry for price wise, I think that would increase the player base significantly. Oh, speaking of Warhammer 40K, well, Amazon is already, so we've already gotten a little bit of news about this Amazon 40K deal, but this is going to be the first 40K content to hit Amazon streaming.
Okay.
So this is not the Henry Cavill film or television deal. This is Space Marine 2. So Secret Level is a new animation anthology from the same guys that did Love, Death, and Robots.
Not interested.
Yes, I know. That was a real hit and miss kind of a series there. Yeah. So Blur Studio. And they are releasing stuff for Amazon Prime. So what the heck is this? 15 episodes called Secret Level. It's all episodes themed on video games. So instead of doing original sci-fi stories with some kind of robot content, they're just going to promote video games. So, and one of those is going to be a promotion for the Space Marine 2, the 40K game that's coming out. So they premiered a little bit of this at Gamescom on their opening night live. And with a little bit of tease. And so I guess Tim Miller, I don't know if it's the same Tim Miller, the Deadpool Tim Miller, and Dave Wilson are the guys that came up with Love, Death, and Robots for Netflix. And so this is just going to be a totally separate project, separate episode, and a December deadline.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, not that's for, December 10th. Yeah, sorry, December 10th. They're going to go, but that's also, so December is also something that came up in the news with Amazon, because Amazon and Games Workshop are working together to come up with a mutually agreed kind of creative guidelines for what this bigger project with Henry Cavill, the movie streaming thing, and they haven't agreed yet. So if that falls apart, this deal may be over. Right. So yeah, they've kind of been kicking things around back and forth. So this is the first kind of 40K content, and it may, I guess, it's going to be kind of cutting it close, but they'll see what kind of reaction it gets. But so, yes,
am I to understand that, like, okay, it's based on like a video game? It's something like Bolt Gun or whatever the
so this is the sequel to that pretty good the 3D kind of action shooter game, third person shooter game that had a fun multiplayer and stuff. But it recreated the first one was all orcs. I think this next is going to be all Tyranids, or mostly Tyranid. Okay. And so it's just going to be like a promo, like a little bit of story involved in that game. So the main character from that game and all that good stuff. But yeah, Amazon does have, unless this deal falls apart, exclusive rights for it to develop film and TV for Warhammer, and I think Warhammer Fantasy as well. So we'll see. But Miller says, they've been working on this Secret Level project for 3 years. Wow. And so and that's what we're saying. But that was before the Henry Cavill stuff was announced or anything. So this is their own thing, and I'm sorry, it's not. It's September. September 9th. Not December. Okay. September 9th. So they'll get to see how much reaction it gets. But so what else is going on? So it's not just Space Marine. It's going to be a lot of different stuff. So Armored Core, Concord, Crossfire, Dungeons and Dragons, Exodus, Honor of Kings, Mega Man, New World, Ethereum, Pac-Man, Sifu, Spelunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, and then Space Marine 2. So it's just all over the place. So just basically like promotion videos. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit more story, or are they trying to get people to play games? Some of these games are pretty old. Like they have been out for a while. So I don't know. Unreal Tournament. Kind of jump back in there.
Only because it's connected, right? Okay.
Right.
Love, Death, and Robots. I've watched all of them, and 2, right? Mm-hmm. As a whole, they sucked. And I'm being kind of strong. As a whole, they sucked. There were individual episodes that I thought that was pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. And most of them were the more like cerebral ones, right? Where or the ones where I said, you know what? I hated the animation style here. But you tried to do something different with it. So, okay, you know what? That one's actually good. Mm-hmm. Right? But with like Love, Death, and Robots, I thought the idea was cool. Like, maybe not cutting edge, but different styles of animation, just like kind of like short 10, 15 minute things, whatever. And here's like an anthology of them. We're going to give people money to develop kind of, I don't know what this video game thing is. Like, it just feels really commercial.
Yeah, that's probably why they get the funding, because I guess it's a lot of PlayStation stuff as well. So other PlayStation games, will be included.
I would go that. Okay, we want to do kind of something like it again. Where are we going to get the money from? Why don't we kind of approach video game companies, or maybe we got approached to do it, and sure, we're using these IPs, and that's how we're getting the money, and it is kind of like a commercial. But
for the promotion for a lot of these games, though, they already did produce some nice CG animation for promoting. I don't know. So that's funny. So that'll be the first Warhammer we see on Amazon, and we'll go from there. We'll find out if this deal actually comes through and what they're arguing over creatively. I can't even imagine what the debate is. Probably Cavill's in there with his lore books and everything.
No,
it's like according to So we'll see what happens. And finally, so Modifius is trying to get their first edition of Star Trek to live long and prosper, I suppose.
Out the door. Oh, it's a humble bundle. It's fine.
Yes, so humble bundle is a first edition humble bundle to kind of catch you up on and this is basically everything that was released for first edition. So it's a really good deal. And if you don't have any of these books, or if you have played some Star Trek or whatever, and this gives you everything, kind of every era, and all the supplemental stuff, including like Lower Decks and the original animated series and stuff. Yeah, all that's the Filmation stuff. Yeah, so everything that you need. So assemble your Starfleet crew for the Star Trek bundle of tabletop role-playing games from Modifius. So this contains the Explorers Kit contains new character templates, expansions, campaign guides for the original series, Next Generation, Discovery, and more. You get everything you need to embark on an epic space journey with your friends while supporting Girls Who Code. So that's the charity that the bundle goes to. And it's basically everything. So for $25, you get 36 items, about 94% off the retail price for the PDFs. And it's everything. The Klingon content they released.
Like I'm looking at the list that you copied on the thing over there. Like it just keeps scrolling.
It's just everything. Yeah, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, all the Gamma, Delta, all the Quadrant stuff that they released, the Shackleton Expanse, Enterprise characters, because they give you the option to play in any era just with a little fussing with the known aliens and technology. More of the Klingon Empire, and all of the supplements for the different divisions, command, science, and operations, and also their adventures collections, which are really good. We played those. We played one of those as kind of weekly episodes, and sometimes there were two-parters, but they work pretty well as weekly episodes. And also the starter set. So the starter set is a really good way to get into the little Romulan adventure you're playing at the beginning. Kind of sets things up well. So yeah, it's basically everything. And even with the $1 pledge, that will get you the starter set and their Lurkers adventure. So right away you have the adventure in the starter set, pre-gen characters, and then a first adventure if you just want to try it out. But this will be updated, and the only thing that I've heard so far, the biggest change is going to be they're getting rid of the D6s. So it's going to be more similar to Dune. You're only ever rolling D20s. Okay. So 2 D20s. So they're taking away. So, they're probably converting it more into a Dune. So you're doing everything that would like cause damage or whatever to disable a ship or to do something. You're doing extended tasks. So you're just, collecting successes and spending momentum to achieve a task, which will destroy a ship, which will disable a combatant or whatever. And so it'll be interesting to see if that helps. And they also talked about the ship battle rules. Those needed a little bit of help, I think. So in the second edition, they're kind of gonna refine, give everybody something to do.
Oh, okay, giving everyone something to do. I mean,
right.
I think that's always not always, but it seems like it's frequently kind of a sticking point in TTRPGs, right? Like you don't just only want the pilot to be making the rolls. Everyone just kind of sits around. Right. Yeah. But like making it feel like everyone is contributing, right? But I was thinking like Star Trek battles, from what I remember, they're not that exciting. Just like, okay, we line up. Right? Like, yes. Yeah, it's not the World War II inspired stuff like for Star Wars. It's
right. Yeah. So hopefully they can make that work a bit better. But yeah. Yeah, so I mean, this is basically everything that they've put out. So that's pretty impressive, and it's a ton of content. And even so, if you have a problem with that first core rule book and the organization and the readability of it, they did release both their Game Master's Guide and their Player's Guide, which is basically just the rules
Right.
and just the rules for, you know, what a player and a GM are going to need, and not all of the lore and the little missives from Starfleet and the little history blurbs
Right.
and stuff. So they just like give you a couple of really streamlined booklets, which hopefully they'll take that, you know, they'll learn from that. And for the second edition book, it'll be very clearly, you know, this is all the players need, and then this is all what the GMs need, and here's all of your background. And also that comes out in their supplement, so they don't need to like really go crazy with background. All right, so that's $1 for 2 items, 15 for 13, and 25 for all 36, which is it's a ton of stuff.
That's a lot.
All right, so that is going to do. So I'll put a link to the description in the description for that, and that'll do it for this week. So where can people find you?
I forget.
Somewhere here mostly, and then somewhere else,
mostly,
either here or
mostly
work.
at work, right? Yeah. So, Blue Sky, Instagram, sometimes Threads, only because I have my settings set to like cross post stuff. That's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, and actually on Facebook in very select groups like the little 2mm, 6mm, or other kind of like wargaming groups. That's the only place I visit on Facebook, because the rest of it is just like a cesspool. Anyway,
is the font really small for the 2mm?
No, because surprisingly enough, like most people who go 2mm, they're old, right? Right? I'm going to say it. They're old, so it's just like huge typeface and like huge blocks of troops, because they're just like, anyway. Yeah.
Oh no, so your minis get smaller the older you get. Oh, this is
no. The minis get smaller.
Yeah.
The bases they're mounted on.
Oh,
bigger,
right.
Right. So you're just like,
Right.
I started looking at the I started looking at the Strength and Honor war game, which is Roman Empire stuff, and it's like 100. Like, okay, they say you can use any size, right? But they give recommended sizes, and it's like I forget the name. It's a legion, right? Would be so you're looking at like 120mm by like 60mm base, because like it's so it's a bit like I've said before, like below a certain size, the base is, you don't save any space, because it's just like, here's an entire legion marching across it, and I have like 10 of them. Right? So yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, where can people find you?
So yeah, coming up in a week, I'll be doing the September live stream for Abuse Cartoons. Yeah, so abusecartoons.com and Abuse Cartoons on YouTube, and Twitch is where that streams, and it'll stream on this channel as well, just to confuse and dismay people. And you can read that cartoon on GoComics, so gocomics.com/domesticabuse. And if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling, the
strongest of all supporters,
at patreon.com/upturntable. You can basically tell us what you'd like to see more of, and just support what we're doing here and keep the weekly going. We'll hit 300 here eventually.
Oh, nice. More alien ripping apart.
Yes. And keep an eye out. So I'm posting the VSN actual play, and we're going to get back to Dune.
Nice.
Dune tomorrow, and lots of fun stuff. And I was thinking about setting up a tier, like maybe just like a one-time, not a recurring, but like a one-time tier for like make us play a game in the actual play. It's like,
okay, like scheduling is absolutely a nightmare, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So somebody say, you have to play this. It's going to be like all My Little Pony and Smurfs and stuff.
Hey, you know what?
Just for the fun of it.
Okay, just grade it, right?
Yeah.
A game we would think we would enjoy, like $1, right? Something we would absolutely hate.
Right.
Like
The more you think we would hate it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, upturntable.com for all of that. And I'm also releasing the audio, and I'm trying to make them as long as possible. So I'm not just littering the RSS feed with a bunch of...
Gotcha.
So each mystery I'm going to kind of group together. So it's going to be about 10 hours per episode, but I'm putting the VSN audio, all of the John Carter audio, in 2 giant 12-hour files, is already on the RSS feed. So if you prefer using Spotify or your podcast software to listen to stuff as opposed to YouTube, that is an easy way to do it. So that's all for this week. We'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.
Yo See ya.